in Napa, where the Raiders broke camp earlier today with their disgruntled receiver in attendance. Antonio Brown challenged yesterday by general manager Mike Mayock to either be all in or all out, present for their morning meeting. Team did not practice today, so we don't know yet if he's willing to take the field, but we do know that he's not yet ready to fully move on from this helmet fight.
We've worked very closely with the Raiders, and we will continue to work very closely with the Raiders. I'm not sure that we agree that we've exhausted all the options, as Mike Mayock said, but there's no doubt it's still an ongoing process. We are trying to work with the team and the league and the union to come up with a solution. We haven't figured it out yet. To say that AB is upset about the decision to not let him wear his helmet is accurate, but we're still processing it and figuring it out.
That was Brown's agent Drew Rosenhaus yesterday, who also said we shouldn't read too much into AB's absence. Mike Silver, it sounds like the Raiders are saying they'd rather not have to do any reading. Is it fair to say that they're growing weary of this?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty obvious. We first visited this a week ago, and they were surprised that an issue that was oddly fiery during OTAs had resurfaced during training camp. And listen, it's not just the helmet. You've got the foot injury, which is weird, and perhaps that's just a bad accident. And most of all, you've got a guy who just kind of comes and goes as he pleases when he gets emotional. And he's certainly emotional about this helmet issue. And teams are willing to put up with these types of things for a player who is that good, but at some point it becomes problematic. And you saw now Mike Mayock trying to exert some pressure yesterday. Previously, the Raiders brass, I believe, was of the mindset of, look, let's just be really nice and keep everything cool, and eventually he'll come to his senses, because that's what we really need, him to perform. Obviously, that was tiring them out. You saw Mike Mayock make those comments. He's back. Is he really back for good? We shall see. I talked to one source there today, and he said, I think it's over, and he'll get over it and score 30 touchdowns, hopefully. And that's a big hopefully, because the emotions continue to run wild from Antonio Brown.
So hopefully he is all in. If he is all out, we don't yet know what that actually means from a team standpoint. No real good options for them moving forward. Mike Silver, thank you very much. Scott?
All right, Lindsay, let's get some star player opinions on this one right now. Three-time Pro Bowler DeAngelo Hall to my left. Hall of Famer Terrell Davis to my right. Gentlemen, how do you feel about how AB has played this thing so far?
Bad. I mean, listen, I'm trying to understand why you would not show up to training camp. And I get the foot thing, right? It's embarrassing. You did the little cryo thing, came out, you embarrassed yourself with the foot. I get that part. And the helmet is an issue that obviously he wants to have the right equipment. Okay, I get that. But why don't you just show up? Just go to training camp, be there with your teammates. I mean, just be a body in the building. But the fact that he is content to say, I'm going to show up when I want to be there, I just find that bizarre that your teammate is not there. And if I'm in that locker room, I'm like, we can't count on this guy. I mean, we know his history, know him came from Pittsburgh.
Can you really say that, though? Because all he has done is skipped practices so far. And I know that every coach and general manager will say.
But because if you let him skip practice like this, if he's skipping practice like this, last year, it was week 17, I believe, or 16. Skipped the game. Showed up the day before the game, said, hey, I'm ready. They haven't heard from him since Wednesday.
Didn't stop the Raiders from giving him $30 million in fresh money and a bonus when they acquired him.
But, Scott, that to me, too, TD, that to me is what's so perplexing. It's like I've never seen it in all my years of pro football, a guy just come and go as they please.
He plays.
I've never seen, and especially in training camp. Training camp is when it's supposed to be hard, when you're supposed to grind. And like TD said, I understand the whole helmet issue. I've spoken with a couple guys. Pierre Garçon is a guy who wore this helmet last year, and he spoke about, yes, the helmet is that good of a helmet that I love the way it feels. It feels like it's sucking my head in. I mean, I'm like, well, Pete, when I wear a helmet.
But he changed his helmet. Pierre Garçon is wearing an NFL
He did change his helmet.
Compliant helmet.
And he said it's tough. It's hard. It sucks. But I had to do it. And so, you know, AB didn't like the way things were going in Pittsburgh. I felt like you can't question AB's work ethic. He is one of the hardest workers on the field. What we're trying to do is transition AB to being a leader. When he left Pittsburgh, I felt like, exactly, you got to be a better teammate. Like, guys need to see him. The way he works and is as hard as he goes, if they can see a little bit of that every single day, and like you said, I understand the whole helmet issue, but that does not prevent you from being at practice.
He's making this helmet a Raiders issue, though. It's not the Raiders issue. It's not the team issue. That's your personal issue. I had that with my shoulder pads when I came from college. I wanted to wear my shoulder pads. My Georgia Bulldog red shoulder pads, I wore those for a year. They told me that because of the length of those shoulder pads, they weren't adequate. They had to get a new pair of shoulder pads. I used those new shoulder pads. I didn't like it, but I broke those shoulder pads in and got used to them. Get used to a new helmet, man. Stop this nonsense.
Well, I can tell you this. There's still 3 more weeks to talk about this before we actually get on a game field. 3 weeks from tonight, Monday Night Football, the Oakland Raiders at home against the Denver Broncos. Speaking of the Denver Broncos, on Monday Night Football,